Welcome, Guardians, to another episode of the DTR podcast. I am your host, Jay, the content manager here at the Tracker Network. And joining me this week is my co-host. First up, we have Jay Rambo, 919. Jay Ram.
How you doing, man? Nice to see you again.
I'm good. How are you?
Really good. You look good today.
Thank you.
What is it?
The
look
lighting.
At that smile. Those teeth are perfect.
It's good to be back. It's good to be back. We've been out for 2 weeks, so it's good to be back.
Nice to see you again, my
He's
friend.
just hyped.
Yeah. I'm really hyped.
Excellent.
Next up, we have Joker. Joker, what's up?
What's going on, ladies and gents, boys and girls, guardians of all ages? Joker back again, once again. Yes, I do have to say my catchphrase because I love it.
It's the best. It's the best intro that we have here. Next up, we have Nemplays. Nem, what's up? Welcome to the show. Our special guest co-host this week. Guest this week. How are you?
Thank you for having me, guys. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, man.
Nice. All right, guys, we have a big show. A lot to talk about. A lot has happened since we haven't had a show. We had the Go Fast update that's out. Bungie just announced expansion 2, which is called Warmind. So we're going to be talking about that tonight. We're going to dive into some Trials of the Nine because the stats are pretty interesting since the Go Fast update release. So I really want to talk about that. And then we have 2 new segments here on the show. The first one is Lore Facts with Joker. That's going to be really interesting tonight. And then we're going to have a new segment called Tell Me Something I Don't Know, where my host and our guest will tell me a random fact. It could be anything. It could be about their personal life. It could be about a video game. Just anything. Just a random fact. I think it's a fun way to end off the show. So, and I even have an interesting fact to say. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. But before we dive into all of that, as always, I have to get through our housekeeping things. You guys can find the DTR podcast on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and the Google Play Store. At Destiny Tracker Podcast. The show is recorded on Fridays at 7:45 p.m. Eastern, live on twitch.tv/Destiny Track. Also, guys, make sure to check out Dan Fennety's show called #SideQuestSunday. You guys can find that show on Twitter at SideQuestSunday, and on all of your favorite podcast services. All right, Nem, I'm gonna pass it on to you. Do you mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I am a Destiny streamer, more recently associated with Planet Destiny. I was one of the more recent podcast members and content creators over on the YouTube side.
All right, sweet. So how did you get into content creation?
Honestly, it started with Destiny. In terms of like actually uploading stuff to a YouTube channel, which needs better keeping, and streaming. Destiny was a big push for that as well. So that was, kind of like my go-to game for that.
Mm-hmm. All right, nice. All right, J-Ram, I'm gonna pass it on to you for your questions, my friend.
All right. So, I don't know if people would know this about you unless they were living underneath a rock, but you like Hive lore, correct?
Yes.
Could you briefly describe how you would react if you were running down the street and a knight jumped right in front of you?
A mix of like excitement and terrified, because I know that thing is not care for me, but I'm going to be all over that, and it's just like an absolute dismay and like just all over the place.
And just to kind of build off of that, can you briefly go into maybe one of your favorite lore facts or lore stories that you've learned about the Hive?
Yes. So the Hive, their proper name from their planet fundament, they're known as the Krill, and they have 2 different, I want to say, societies within fundament. You have the helium drinkers, and you have, I can't remember the name of the. They're from the osmium, so the osmium kingdom. So that's where you have the 3 sisters from. Like they're part of that kingdom.
Yeah, it's just the osmium court.
Yes, thank you, the osmium court. That's probably like one of my favorite things about that, because there's not a whole lot of people that know about that unless you physically went out and read the Books of Sorrow.
And I don't know. I kind of find it a little interesting here. And I'm glad I got you here, and I'm glad we have Joker here because you guys are going to be the lore people tonight. Well, Joker, you're always the lore person. You're like my go-to when it comes to that stuff. But it just seems like Bungie chose to really exploit the Hive backstory, whereas when it comes to like the Fallen and the Vex, we know a little bit about them, but for the casual lore person that I am, I know a lot more about the Hive than I do the other factions. So why do would you like to see the next, I guess, how do I want to say this here? If we assume that we're going to have a fall content update, would you like it to be centered around the Hive? Or would you rather see Bungie do exactly what they did with the Hive and exploit another faction to really dig down and figure out who these people are or who these factions are? Because the Hive is one of my favorite, and I think it's one of my favorite because I know the most about them.
So, okay. So personally, I would love to see
That's
more
a hell
of
of a
that.
question.
Yeah, personally, I would love to see more of that. They've been dropping a lot of tidbits about Oryx's sister Savathun and how we're seeing her or him, I'm not sure, knowing how Oryx was, that she's pretty much taking over the Taken, and I really want to know kind of like where she stands in this whole battle between like the Traveler and us, because we don't know how deeply they are connected to the darkness, because their entire kind of purpose of being here where they are is because they had to flee from their home planet for survival, and so they made the pact with the worms, and we got the ball rolling that way.
Bit them in the ass.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, the reason why I asked that question is because if in Destiny 2, we have an entire strike dedicated just to one character, one figure that we don't even know like who they are, like Savathun. We've never seen this person before, nothing. And the other strikes, although they may hint towards like another unknown figure within a certain faction, none of them actually have a strike named after them.
Right.
So it seems like the next major thing after the raid layer that we're going to get in May, is probably going to be Hive centered, which I'm excited for because I think if it's one thing Bungie does really well, I don't care what raid you go into, but when you go into that raid, you definitely feel like you are inside of that culture. So for example, Crota raid. When I think of the Hive, I think of a species that is intense, in your face, aggressive, fast, threatening. Never say die attitude, no fear. And when you run through the abyss, that's exactly what you feel. When you go into the Vault of Glass, you think calculated, very surgical with what they want to do. It almost seems like there's never a hobgoblin out of place. Like they're exactly where they need to be when they need to be there because that's the way they are, because they are so regimented. And then when you went into the Rise of Iron one, I forget what the hell name is that?
Wrath of the Machine.
Wrath of the Machine.
Thank you, Wrath of the Machine. You had the Fallen, but it was a very computerized Fallen. So you still got that very technical theme, even though the Fallen are very high, there's a lot of hierarchies within it. You could see that in the way they fought you. Like you would have all the minions come out first and then the captain would follow behind. It's exactly what I would expect it, if I were fighting something like that. So I'm really interested to see the next chapter within this Destiny saga, if it's going to be the Hive and if they still maintain that theme, because Bungie's really good at that.
Well, if I might, JRAM.
Yes, you may.
One of the things, because he was talking about the Savathun stuff, we also see, and then also the Book of Sorrows, and it reminded me, we also see Taken, but they're Quorra's Taken. Now, Quorra Blade Transformed was the Vex mind that essentially goes, hey, we need to take the sword logic and make it ours, and that's essentially kind of why the Vex are the way they are now. Mm-hmm. That's why they adopted religion and whatnot. So even though it may be a Hive main DLC, the Vex will probably have a role to play just because of Quorra.
That's
all right. I like that.
That's interesting.
So Last question. What is your favorite thing to do in Destiny 2?
My favorite thing to do in Destiny 2 at the moment, definitely Crucible.
Quick play, competitive, or Rumble?
Quick play.
Okay.
Quick play. Yeah, I got my gripes with Rumble right now.
All right. Well, I'm sure we'll explore that in a little bit then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Quick play for sure.
All right. We'll wait till then. Thank you.
All right, Joker.
Well, as the lone wolf Rumble player who also loves lore, how do you feel about Rumble? Tell us.
But I love Rumble. Don't get me wrong. Like back in D1, most of my time in the Crucible was spent in Rumble. But right now, I think there just seems to be kind of like this little balance with power ammo. And if you're not using the Legend of Acreus, you are playing it wrong. At least that's what it's felt like. You know, when I've gone in there, I've noticed a lot of Acreus. Just kind of like around corners, you can't really do much to it because you have it has such a really good range, and even if you're in a super right now, that thing will just like immediately knock you out. Rumble, you're cute, but from a distance.
Yeah, no, I actually completely agree because I think heavy is in a weird place in Rumble. I like that they brought it down to 6 people just because it gives you enough breathing room. Because 8 was
it was super hectic.
Yeah, it was super hectic. The whole point of Rumble is controlled chaos. You control a lane, you make people come to you if you're playing it right. But with the way that power ammo or heavy ammo or whatever you want to call it is implemented right now, it's like people just wait until heavy ammo. So I think if they took heavy ammo out, honestly, or made it spawn one place, center of the map, one white rocket launcher, center of the map, essentially, I think it would be in a better place. But I like that they reacted so quickly to the feedback, like, no, 8's too hectic, bring it down to 6, and the next week, the next time it was around. But going into that, how do you feel about instead of making these actual playlists, it's like, okay, 1 week you got Rumble, 1 week you got Iron Banner, 1 week you got Mayhem. Do you think this helps the playlist to be exciting and new and keep people in them? Or do you think it's like one of those things, just go back to Destiny 1?
At the moment, I think it's falls into more of a necessity thing. I love being able to pick what I want to play, and it's a bummer that I can't pick like Mayhem whenever I want or Control whenever I want. But I think that right now, doing the weekly rotating playlists, it might be the best way for them to go, considering the player base right now. I mean, granted, we've seen increases in those numbers because the 1.1.4.
Yeah, people are interested in it again.
Yeah, and 1.1.4 feels great. Like a lot of the weapons feel really good. The movement speeds, they're like at a bridge between D1 and D2. Honestly, that's partly one of the reasons why I started playing again, because it just feels really, really good to play. But I'm hoping that in the future we'll get a little bit more options as to what you want to play, and not it being a weekly rotating thing.
Can I play devil's advocate real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, because I agree with you 100% as far as like if you split up the player base now, matchmaking is going to be even more terrible than it is.
Yeah.
But they made this decision before Destiny 2 came out.
Yeah, that's
so. Why were you? Why? I mean, I get the argument. I totally get the argument, which is, well, if you do it now, you're gonna have worse connections and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But that they didn't make that decision to make quick play and competitive based off of the player base that they had currently. They did it before D2 was.
Well, I can tell you why they did that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, one of the biggest problems with Destiny 1 was connection and population, especially towards the end of Destiny 1's life cycle. So if you have competitive and you have quick play, now I don't agree with this decision, mind you. I like, fix your servers. Don't use peer-to-peer. Peer-to-peer is so outdated it's not even funny. But I get that the dedicated servers have to be on the publisher side. No developer. I can't think of one developer that has dedicated servers on their own. It's usually the publisher that provides them, like EA and whatnot. So like Microsoft for Halo and whatnot. So it's one of these things like, okay, we can bitch at Bungie like, hey, you need dedicated servers. Yeah, but that's an Activision thing, you know?
Yeah.
So they are doing kind of the Overwatch where they're like, well, we're going to have a competitive playlist, and we're going to have the casual playlist, and we're just going to funnel everybody into those and hope the connection kind of works itself out. But when you do that, you go, hey, you have people like me who's like, dude, I don't want to play fucking, I don't know, crest grab fucking 500 times. I can't even remember what it's called.
Supremacy.
Supremacy, yeah. I don't want to play Supremacy all night, you know. I want to go play Rumble, or I want to play Territories. I've been playing a lot of Halo, sorry. And it's like, so that pushes people away. That has the inverse effect. It's like in Destiny 1, I think a lot of people could deal with shitty we bitched about it, right?
Yeah.
But people could deal with it. But in Destiny 2, they took the connection away. You can't see connections. You can't even see score, so you can't like, oh, this guy's the reason we're losing. And then they funneled everybody into 2 playlists. So I think it was they said they made changes. I don't necessarily know how much of that I agree, how much I see there. Yeah. But I think they did this to mask that.
Yeah, it's just, I think they knew that just in case the player base drops during a content drought, we won't have to split their player base, right?
Actually, you kind of, sorry, I don't mean to keep going on.
No, go.
But you bring up a good point. Do you think they knew that it was going to be just in case of a content drought like we had with the Year of Taken King?
Yeah.
Or do you think they knew that Destiny 2 was not going to ship, in a way that people wanted?
I wouldn't say that. I think because look, they always said during content droughts, go play other games. They've said that before.
Right. Yeah, so, and now it's coming to bite them in the ass.
Yeah.
That's a stupid thing to say.
So I think they made the decision saying, just in case the player base drops during a content drought, let's just make 2 playlists. Right? So
yeah,
I think one of the big things, one of the big, decisions there as well is that they probably saw a lot of the feedback that a lot of Destiny 1 players had over the Crucible experience in there, where it was a connection thing, more over like skill-based matchmaking and stuff like that, and that kind of helped veered into like, all right, well, let's give people a larger matchmaking pool to prioritize connection over skill-based matchmaking, which a lot of people were.
Yeah, the skill-based argument always like confused me. I'm coming from Halo too, and Halo 3, so I'm like hardcore competitive ranked, and I'm like, okay, I want my matches to be skill-based. And
then that's a lot of the feedback that at least I saw from personal experience, like on the Bungie forums. It's like connection based over like matchup over skill
You're
based.
Exactly right.
So I'm sure that had a hand in them developing the playlist how it is now.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. The optimist in me says they did this because they were thinking about player experience and they wanted players to get in as fast as possible with the best connection possible.
That's true.
That way they have a good time. The pessimist in me says they took the shortcut route because this was the easiest thing to do with the amount of time that they had, and this is what we got.
No, that's exactly what happened. I'm gonna like I've done videos on this. That's pretty much exactly what happened.
Yeah. And it sucks to say that because I know it makes us come off as salty and shit like that, but there's always more than one dimension to every single problem. It's just if you're critically thinking about it, you got to be able to think about all the issues.
There's salty, trying to make the best and then there's reality, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Like just pointing out basic, like, hey, this is probably what happened. That's not salty, Yeah.
Now,
how do we fix it? How do we fix it a year in?
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I will say this though, that I do like that. A lot of the things that they were so adamant on when they first revealed Destiny 2, that they're backtracking on that now. Like, they were so, adamant that there was going to be no Rumble, that Rumble was going to be gone, that Crucible was going to be a 4v4 experience exclusively going forward for every event. So, you know, we have the Rumble back, we have Mayhem back. Next week we're getting Iron Banner 6v6 back. So I'm really glad that they're seeing that the direction that they took was not
Wrong. Yeah.
was not so great. Yeah. And you know, making it a little bit more to what has been tried and true.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
The only thing that hurts them in that is the fact that this game is like trying to turn the Titanic.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only problem. If they were able to update this game similar to, you know, other games that we were playing right now, I'm not saying like with the speed of Fortnite, but with, you know, within a couple weeks,
Right.
you wouldn't hear as much, you know,
I can tell you
in the air and everything.
I can actually
like that.
tell you why it takes them forever to render anything. I looked into that. So I was watching a Vidoc for the GDC thing for the video I was making about the lore stuff.
Yes.
And I noticed that they showed off the Granok map editor that they have. And I noticed that when they would put, like, say, a rock that's, if you've ever been on the moon, like, yeah, everybody's been on the moon, but if you've ever noticed that there's, like, you got the moon terrain where it's kind of sandy, but then you got rocks kind of sticking out that's more, like, hard. Well, you got, like, 10% of a rock, but the rest of the 100% is off in the wall. Yeah. So not only are they rendering what you see, they're rendering all this crap that's buried in a wall that you don't see.
Gotcha.
So when it takes a day to render, that's why. It's like if you go into Forge, if you have a huge Forge map, it takes a while to render. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
I'm assuming the engine that they're using is a little bit on the older side too.
Oh, Joe.
Yeah.
Jay loves having debates over the engine.
Yeah.
Especially on Twitter.
Yeah, that engine cannot be doing them any justice.
Well, like I said a while ago in Blue Jay's mind, the version that they're probably running on, or probably built Destiny 2 on, I mean, it makes sense, is just after House of Wolves. Because a lot of the Taken King stuff isn't in there. Like, sparrows don't flip.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Like, I know that sounds so stupid, but it's like, sparrows don't flip, and you're like, oh shit.
I never noticed that.
Everything falls into place now.
Yeah. Every time you talk about this, just keep blowing my mind.
Oh, I love because I'm learning Unity right now because I want to make my own game.
What is Unity? What is
It's
that?
a game engine.
That's the that's the Ubisoft game engine.
Oh, I thought it was the shitty Assassin's Creed game.
No. No.
I mean, it was made there, so I mean, I could be making bad choices myself. But anyways, to kind of continue with that line of questioning, so we have the summit coming up, and I started a little shit with that. I apologize. But so we got the summit coming up, and we got all these YouTubers and content creators being flown out, and we have Warmind just got announced. So it's I think it's coming out even before the summit, if I'm not mistaken.
Next week, right?
It's in April. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I have so many different dates in my head right now that I'm like mixing things up.
Yeah, no.
Because I think they're going to be able to capture footage while they're there.
Yeah, they are.
Oh yeah.
It's a game capture as well. But I mean, like Summit's next week. That's 2 weeks before the DLC or something like that. So the ship's not going to be turned around, is what I'm saying.
No.
So
I think they're there to play the future stuff. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I think they're there to play the fall stuff and to see what they're building right now for what we're going to get in September. That's probably where that feedback is going to go to.
Yeah, that's essentially what that's. Do you feel like this DLC is either going to be the culmination of Curse of Osiris to now feedback, or do you think like it's probably a wash and we just have to go, well, if Destiny's going to be saved, let's make or break. This is it.
Yeah. No. I've said this for a long time. Destiny 2 is probably not going to feel whole and great until September. I think it's wicked too late in the state of development and how Curse of Osiris shipped out for them to like really make any like game changing decisions and bring it into the game on May 8th. Like it's definitely going to be a great, another layer on that foundation that 1.1.4 did, because that was all about movement. So now now we're getting like the private matches, we're getting the seasonal crucible stuff. So it's just going to be another layer on that. But again, I think it's just it's Division. We're going to see it, being really good, like super late in time.
Yeah. Well, before we start talking about all that D2 news, which I'm really excited to talk about, what is the most fun you guys had in video games this week? J-Ram, I'm gonna pass it on to you first, friend.
I bought a game.
All right.
My wife got me a $50 Steam card like 2 months ago, so I've had it, loaded on my Steam account.
Okay.
And I was like, ooh, I'll wait. There's one game I had in my radar, and I was like, I'll wait till it goes on sale a little bit, and it did.
What game?
And it's the new Assassin's Creed.
Ah, okay.
And it's awesome.
Yeah.
Isn't it beautiful, dude?
Oh,
I have that.
God, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's
Now, I'm not going to say anything about where I am in the game, because potentially there may be somebody out there that hasn't played it that wants to play it, so I'm not going to ruin anything. But I'm only about an hour in, like I haven't played a lot, and I'm already like 100% invested in this storyline. Because something happens and I'm like, oh shit.
Nice.
And I'm very excited because the Division had their 1.8.1 update. And now it's like there's classified gear that you're grinding for. All that is, it becomes, there's more avenues to get that now. And they're easier to obtain. They're not giving you the gear like Destiny would give you. But you still have to play the game in order to get this stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. I mean, just those two things. It's the end of the semester for me, so as far as gaming, I don't game as much. But as soon as the semester's over, it's like,
oh yeah,
yep,
it's fun.
I'll be waking up and playing games all day, playing games all night. I might call you up just to see what you're doing.
All right, I like that.
Yeah, buddy. So that's it. Yeah, thank you for asking.
All right, Nem.
Oh man, I've been having a lot of fun in D2.
Right.
Like again, D2 Crucible right now has been really fun. Aside from that, though, I've been a lot of Monster Hunter World, man.
Ooh, I have yet to get that game.
Dude, I have already sunk a disgusting amount of hours into that game. I play with my buddies, and it's always a good time. Oh, like I have so many clips of us just fooling around and just like literally crying on the microphone. It's super fun.
All right, Joker.
I haven't been playing that much games lately. I got a trip to Hawaii. I gotta make content between now and then for. And then I'm also gonna be probably taking a couple days off to do Gears of War. And if you've noticed my channel, it's like video every day. So I'm doing like 2 videos a day, but one's going up, one's going in the backlog, and then getting everything ready to do that and do the God of War review, because I want to review that game that comes out.
Sweet. For me, I haven't been playing too many video games this week. I just came back from my trip, so sadly I haven't been playing this week. But this weekend, hopefully, I plan on staying in, watching some Marvel movies and playing some video games, catching up on that stuff. So that's my plan this weekend. Alright, so good. Let's dive into the Trials of the Nine. I really want to talk about this week because the numbers is a bit... I was shocked. So, Nem, I have a question. Have you played any Trials of the Nine since the Go Fast update?
No. I have not played Trials since probably the first month of D2's launch.
Alright. Anyone else here played Trials recently? J-Ram, Joker? No? No, okay.
Closest that I played was after Season 2 started, so I could get the pulse rifle.
No trials here, man.
So my next question, why?
Because I don't give a shit.
All right.
It's not fun.
Joker.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the arm, whatever the bomb arm one is. I'm like, dude, I killed everybody. Now I have to get the bomb. Oh, wait, now I don't have enough time. Okay, cool. So I'm just not a fan of it. I'm like, I like Destiny 1's Trials. I'm not a fan of what they have now.
I agree. Nem, why haven't you played?
kind of in the same boat with Joker. Not a fan of the changes that they've done to Trials of Osiris. I really, really dislike the fact that there's no power level advantage on something that was supposed to be an end game activity, a raid equivalent for the Crucible people. And I think it just seems a little too. It just seems a little washed out. Not a fan of Countdown. And yeah, those are probably like my biggest issues with it.
And it seems like a majority of the community agree with you guys. Like, it doesn't feel the same. It's boring. It's not fun. There's no light level advantage.
Well, like, how cool was that? I think it's more than just the game type. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Oh, go.
Yeah. How cool was it? Like in Destiny 1, okay, Sunsingers. Okay, a lot of people bitch about Sunsingers. Oh, you should be able to come.
Yeah.
No, how cool was that when you would self-revive and wipe an entire team, or you'd have an entire team of Sunsingers revive themselves, and you would snipe each individual one of them.
Yes,
as they were popping up.
That was fun. I missed that.
Me and my buddy, because my buddy Faison, he is a hardcore Thanatonaut Sunsinger guy. He loves the lore, loves Sunsingers. We would talk about the game that Striker Titans and Sunsingers would play. It was whomever used the super first lost. Okay, because if the Sunsinger popped, then the Titan would just slam them.
Exactly.
If the Titan popped, then the Sunsinger would self-revive and melee them.
Yeah.
So it was the great game. But you don't have things like that in Destiny anymore.
No.
Yeah, it's Titan slams, and he's got like 8 more slams. And I absolutely hate the new Titan slam. I'm like, no, dude, just give me one really cool one with Death from Above. Yes, Death from Above is so amazing.
That was fun.
So good, dude.
Dude, you could like, I had this happen in Trials like a bunch of times, and again, we're talking about why we like Trials, right? It was Widow's Court, and a bunch of people were over on B flag, and they were trying to snipe, and I come skating in, my entire team's dead, they're coming after me, I go Death from Above, 360, turn around in the Death from Above, and Titan Slam behind me. Dude, I mean, it was the play of the game. This is amazing.
So good, yeah.
You don't have stuff like that anymore, you know?
It's a bummer.
Yeah, I do miss D1 Trials. I just wish they could just turn it back on. I personally wish that.
They could. They just won't.
Of course,
they're not going to, because that whatever little like player base that's there is like, literally just gonna gravitate over to D1.
Yeah. Yep. So these numbers are a bit crazy. So last weekend it was Countdown on Midtown, correct? All right. So the number 1 most used weapon was Vigilance Wing, and it was at 713,000 kills. That was the top one. Okay. But usually it's in the millions. And for an update that was released 2 weeks before, or a week before, I think it was, you would think those numbers would be in the millions, right?
No.
No? Why?
No, because 1.1.4 is not a big incentivizer for people to come back.
That's true.
It was great for movement speed, but that was really it. And I don't think that that's gonna want people. It's like, I'm gonna go do Trials now because I'm faster.
Yeah.
And to kind of add to what he was saying, if you didn't like Destiny 2, the day it shipped, if you didn't like Destiny 2 with Curse of Osiris, 1.14 doesn't really change a lot of the core reasons people don't like Destiny 2.
That's true.
It just makes like the experience of playing what Destiny 2 is better.
That's true. Yeah. And then the next one was Last Hope, and that was at 291,000. So clearly there's a range there. So yeah, I just wanted to tell you guys that
people are insane. Use the Vex, the three pulse whatever fucking sidearm that you get, the Vex one. Use that one. It has Headseeker. It's Last Hope with Headseeker.
That's rude.
It's dirty.
Sounds good. Sounds good over there. So have you guys done any of the Nightfalls recently? Got any sweet Nightfall rewards? Nem? I saw that face on you, Nem. No? Talk to me.
That's a whole nother gripe that I have with the Nightfall weapons right now. I get that, like, out of the pool of perks that currently exist in D2. Those are probably some of the better ones.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'm a firm believer that these weapons do not belong in a Nightfall. They belong in Heroic Strike Loot.
Mm-hmm.
Yup.
These weapons, they some of them look neat. However, the Silicon Neuroma, go back to D1. There's a Hawker sniper rifle, looks exactly like it, just without the Borealis suppressor.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't. I don't feel like they're unique enough and powerful enough to warrant some of the grind that people are doing for them when there's weapons like the Vigilance Wing that will automatically just outplay that.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they belong in there, and that's why I haven't really bothered grinding for them.
So my follow-up question is, what do you think should be considered a Nightfall exclusive loot reward, like the Ghost in the second week?
So no, when you think of Nightfall, if you're a Destiny 1 like veteran, Nightfalls were like some of the hardest things to do in D1.
That's true.
If everybody died, you were sent back to orbit. You have to start from 0.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's just not the same anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if they were to put a reward that's that's tied to the Nightfall that requires a lot of grind, because some people are like doing the Nightfalls like over 50 times to try and get this.
Yeah.
It has to be something like truly powerful. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not like they don't have the assets or like the capabilities to do so. Because, for example, Pyramidion, Brachion, we have now the archetype of linear fusion rifles.
Yeah.
What's stopping them from bringing in a Vex line rifle and making it act as a linear fusion?
Breaker, bro.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's been done before. We had the Fallen equivalent to that.
Yeah.
But it's not, and it just doesn't feel like it's, at least personally, it doesn't feel like that reward warrants the time and effort to grind that.
I see.
And kind of to add to that, I grinded the last one with the Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Because my best friend, he loves Nessus, he loves, Failsafe,
Mm-hmm.
and he wanted it, right? And I'm like, fine, let's get the vodka. I'm doing it. Okay.
Yeah.
And like for me, like I kind of want the hand cannon because I'm a huge hand cannon guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I only want it because it's like, if you look at all the hand cannon options, it's the best. It's not great. It's just the best of what's there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And of course it says Death from Above, which again we already established my love for Death from Above.
Yeah.
But as far as like he said, like as far as Nightfall rewards, think back to Destiny 1 when we had strike specific loot. And the reason you would go into like say the Will of Crota and do the Nightfall over and over and over and over and over again is because it had a higher chance of dropping these randomly rolled items that if you got a god roll, grasp a mullet god roll, like come on, come on, who did not want a god roll Gom, dude?
Yeah.
Like,
oh, I missed that grind.
or a god roll Fatebringer, or like not Fatebringer, but
Yeah.
I know about the Imago loot grind.
Oh, that was rough. That was
100
rough.
times in one weekend. I'm just
Wow.
saying.
J-Ram too.
J-Ram.
Yeah, there's two things that I'd like to say real fast.
Yeah.
Number one, this is a game in which we have space magic, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Why don't we have like these really like futuristic guns?
Alien tech guns.
There you go. Number
Yeah.
two, and Jay, you just alluded to this,
Mhm.
and I've been seeing a lot of this on Twitter, and I
All right.
think a lot of people are saying this because this is the thing to say, and
Okay.
nobody's thinking about what they're saying, which is, I miss that grind. Like, and I just read on I think it was Ninja with no L. He's already done 20 Nightfalls, still hasn't gotten the Nightfall reward yet.
Mhm.
Are we really missing the grind, or are we missing unique weapons where they're not, where the chances are not likely that you actually get it? I think Dado came up with one of the best suggestions,
Mhm.
which is, and this he said this back on a DCP podcast a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
He said, if you're going to go ahead and do the Nightfall, everybody should have a 50-50 chance of getting that gun. All right, that unique reward.
Yeah.
The key is that weapon doesn't drop at 330 light or 335 light. Let it drop down to a point where infusing it up to that level is not good enough. You have to run the Nightfall continuously to gather materials that only work for that gun.
Yeah.
Well, that way everybody gets the weapon, but the few will actually grind hard enough to get the materials necessary to max that weapon out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we were talking about with my random roll, a couple weeks ago. Is like, dude, random roll should return and reforging should return. But the materials to reforge should be so ludicrously hard to get, or not like ludicrously hard to get, but it's like masterwork cores. Well, they're not hard to get, but they're rare.
Right. I think, and this is gonna come up as salty as shit, but somebody at Bungie needs to go to player investment school. and figure out what that is. Now, the people at Blizzard figured it out with or I'm sorry, not Blizzard, Diablo. When Diablo 2 came out with their completely revamped system, they figured it out somehow. We need to take what other companies have learned and kind of inject that into this game.
But correct me if I'm wrong. Sorry to cut you off.
No,
But
go ahead.
didn't we complain about grinding the raid for materials? It was in VOG. I forgot the name of it. It was called Was it Radiant Light for VOG? Or was that
Ascendant Shards materials.
Yeah, that. I remember people were complaining about that.
So the reason people were complaining about that, and is because it took the place of a weapon. It wasn't necessarily the grind. It just took the place of the weapon.
Right, I agree.
So
like while you're in the raid.
Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. While you're like, let's say this was the situation. Ready? The Fatebringer drops where you're all excited. The only way to rank it up, obviously, is Ascendant Shards. But while you're playing the raid, certain enemies, like Minotaurs, specifically, can drop shards. So maybe you're really, maybe you could call to your team and say, listen, I'm going to go ahead and do ad control. I'm really going to be focused on Minotaurs, though, because I need these shards.
Yeah.
Not
instead of blue polyphage.
What's that?
Instead of blue polyphage.
Yeah. instead of saying, instead of you beating the Templar and you getting 6 Ascendant shards. Like, that shouldn't have been a reward.
So are people actually enjoying the grind, or just like they just want to have the loot? Like, which one are people?
I think they're enjoying something to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because when the ghost shell dropped last week, I heard exactly. So is it the loot or the grind?
It's both. You have to incentivize the grind with good loot.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. You know what raid actually did that pretty well? Wrath of the Machine.
Yes.
Yeah. Wrath of the Machine had that. It was like almost exactly what you were talking about right there with the Siva key fragments, or where you can re-roll the stats on the armor. And if imagine that if just with weapons.
Well, and even that, you had the key fragments, and you could either A, re-roll your armor, or B, open another chest.
Yeah,
you had
the options to do that.
Yeah,
and I mean, in reality, they need to do something with weapon telemetries in D2 because they are literally a joke right now.
I know. It's like you get it, and it's like worth 2% gunsmith rep, and you're like,
yeah,
what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah.
And where are my heavy ammo synth? Come on.
Oh yeah,
I know.
was just about to say that.
Oh my god, I was doing the Nightfall last night. I was doing the Nightfall last night, and I'm literally like killing yellow enemies, and I'm like, where's my heavy? Why isn't it dropping heavy? Because there's the juggler mechanic. Or whatever.
It's not even that. It's like, where are just the ammo synths in general?
Yeah. I mean, I think they may have taken those out to de-incentivize from people just like standing in one spot, just shooting their power. And
come on, yeah, that's true. I could see them. Yeah, I could see them.
That's what, again. Oh, sorry. That's probably why they readjusted some of like the the rockets. They only hold just one instead.
Yeah,
of like
bullshit.
Right. You go back and it's like my Gjallarhorn has 3 in the mag. What?
Like nobody in the Destiny world.
Different.
Nobody in the Destiny world thought, I think I'm gonna design a rocket that holds 2 rockets.
Yeah. Nobody made the spanker.
Yeah. Nobody made that connection.
Yeah.
So guys,
no, they did. They did. They just forgot about it in like between Destiny 1 and 2, just like with machine guns.
Oh yeah, that got lost in the game files. Yeah, I got one. So guys,
Thunderlord is such a huge part of the lore too. This bothers me to no end. Thunderlord is huge.
Super Good Advice is another one. It's really in
Yeah.
the lore.
Yeah,
and it's non-existent.
they're non-existent anymore.
Non-existent. So, what are your thoughts, guys? How cool is that new poster for Warmind Expansion 2? I think it's pretty cool. No? You guys don't think?
Yeah,
J-Ram?
of course it's cool. It's Bungie. They have a
It looks
black
great.
belt. They have a black belt in creating hype for
Of
the
course.
dumbest shit.
Yeah, so true about that. They're literally masterminds that create hype.
They're really, really
Yeah,
good at it.
They're
Yeah.
really. It's. I think it was Skill Up. He made a video and he was talking about why he quit, and I think it was in this video. And it was talking about the legend of Narcissus, and he goes to this pond and he's like sees his reflection in the pond and he just stares at it, and that's kind of Bungie in their skyboxes, and they make beautiful environments. They
Of course.
now that the poster, the background, it's insane. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't think anybody's gonna argue that. It looks really cool, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh shit, Warmind bunker. Like even me, I'm like, and I'm like probably one of the most cynical Destiny, YouTubers. Even me, I'm like, I want to go in there and I want to loot it. I don't know what's in there, but I want to go in there and I want to loot it.
Joker, you referred to it as a Warmind bunker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that look like the same exact thing that we walk into in the Wrath of the Machine raid?
Yeah, it's the Siva bunker.
Yeah. So, is it safe to say that I think this entire DLC, although it's Warmind related, it's kind of focused around Siva?
No, because it's a Warmind design.
Expand on
Okay.
that. Oh.
Okay. No. I'm with you.
No. I see it now. Yeah.
I just the first time I saw that thing, it had to do with Siva. It had to do with how the Fallen are using Siva, and I think that's exactly what we're gonna get again.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think we're gonna see the combat droids possibly being taken over by Siva, the frames. Because if you go to the tower, down to where right under the staircase for a future war cult, and you scan those droids that are there, the ghost tells you that somebody is trying to hack into Shaxx.
Yeah, one of them.
And it keeps repeating our site and Dahlia, just over and over again. So I think we're gonna see maybe those frames come into action now.
Our site is for people who don't know, our site's the one with the horns like Shaxx, who was the Crucible vendor in Destiny 1, and he's kind of off to the side in Destiny 2. And then the other one, what's her name? Arya?
Stark? Arya Stark?
Is the one who leads the Red Jacks.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and the Red Jacks are Shaxx's robots that go and take locations first to fight in. Why they haven't gone back and taken any of the past locations, like, I don't know, Rusted Lands, we will never know. But
Yeah. So, what are our expectations for this DLC? Even though we don't know anything, but let's look at the track record. What are our expectations? Nem, I saw your face. I'm gonna cut over here.
I'm cautiously optimistic at this point.
That word is thrown around here a lot.
Yeah.
Because like I know a lot of people like to shit on Curse of Osiris because, granted, it wasn't a huge expansion, but when you look at Curse of Osiris and you look at something like Dark Below, which was DLC 1 for Destiny 1, it's vastly different.
Yeah.
Dark Below didn't even have a cohesive campaign to it. It was a couple missions to destroy Crota's crystal, and then you were like thrown into the raid.
Yeah.
At least with Curse of Osiris, you do have somewhat of of a campaign where you fight Panoptes and you find Osiris, and you have the raid layer and whatnot. But with DLC 2, and after the feedback of DLC 1, again, I'm sure they're gonna do some writes there. But I'm not gonna it's not gonna be like the make or break of like people coming back right now.
Oh no.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. J-Ram?
I have zero expectations.
Joker? No.
I think okay.
Okay. No, go.
I think just as long there's a couple of things. If there's more than one Warmind, I'm flipping a table. because Rasputin, the last Warmind, that's like the first thing Rasputin tells us in the Grimoire is that he watched all the other Warminds die.
Yeah.
You know, at the Black Garden, the gates of the garden. And so, you know, there's a reason Rasputin is the last Warmind. 2, are we going to have to save Rasputin like Princess Peach again? Like, how many times is this?
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Now, while I want to learn more about Warminds and the Exos and stuff like that, like, I would rather, like, Rasputin's, like, goes off and does his own thing and, like, is being sinister instead of, like, going in and saving him, or it's Charlemagne or Malahayardi, I can't say that name, you know, which Malahayardi might actually be around. He's the one that was sent off with Siva into space, so he could be still around. But, you know, as far as all the other Warminds that would be on Mars, it would only be Rasputin.
Yeah.
Should only be Rasputin, I should say. But with Curse of Osiris, with, you know, the Fall of Osiris comics, my thought that they respect lore and what's coming into the lore is they play fast and loose with it.
Yeah.
You know? Well, I'll be nice about it. They play fast and loose about it with it. So as long as it's not like something completely far-fetched, I don't think I'll flip the table. But I'm not expecting like 100 new weapons, you know, a bunch of new faction things. Like, I mean, we only got like 3 new faction items last time, and then like we didn't get new sets of armor for anything like we did with Dark Below and House of Wolves. We'd always get new armor, new weapons. We got like 3 new weapons for each faction and like ornaments.
Yeah, you know, now that you mention it, thinking back to it, you're right. Because with every DLC, there was a change in armor for the Vanguard and for the Crucible, and this time around there wasn't.
Yeah. No, nothing.
Yeah.
It's a really
it was just ornament.
Who knows? Yeah.
Because ornaments.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like the ornaments aren't like. I mean, I like the new Monarchy ornaments. I think they're cool. It Reigns of Castamere plays every time I get on my Titan.
Yes.
But like they're not Vault of Glass.
No.
You know, they're not Wrath of the Machine. They're not, you know, Crota's End, the really cool ones from Destiny 1.
Yeah.
But I want to see, you know, interesting weapons. I want to see interesting grinds, and I don't necessarily know if we're going to get that.
Yeah.
Not yet. In September, I think that that will change. But as far as what we're going to get now, I don't think you're going to see anything different.
It comes back to why would you waste the resources?
Yeah.
And I hate to put it that way, but it's a reality. If you're sitting here and you're looking at your player base dying, and you're like, well, we sold X amount of passes, so maybe we'll get half of those people back, 70% of those people back. You know, you want to do a good enough job to like get, I guess, word of mouth, like, hey, yeah, no, this was better than Curse of Osiris. You know, if they think there was anything wrong with Curse of Osiris, even because we don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Fall of Osiris. I'm really critical of that.
Yeah.
I'm blocked by I think I'm blocked by the entire writing team.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
at least the 2 leads, the two main leads that we know about.
Yeah.
I know I'm blocked by them.
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah, I was gonna say. So I think they're gonna say that this is a wash. This isn't like House of Wolves. I don't think they're gonna treat it like House of Wolves, where House of Wolves did a lot for Destiny 1. You know, they changed loot systems, they changed investment systems, they tried a bunch of things. Etheric Light, reforging, you know. Ascension. Yeah. Wasn't that what Etheric Light was or whatever? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it was for.
We got the first kind of trappings of a horde mode. We got the Trials of Osiris. You know, so we got a lot of really cool things with House of Wolves. You know, it's kind of an underrated DLC in the grand scheme of things when you look back on it. But it did so much, and I do not think that this is going to be a House of Wolves.
No.
I mean, House of Wolves pretty much kept Destiny alive throughout
the summer.
The entire summer with Trials of Osiris.
Yeah.
So and then even in after the Taken King came out, you know, and people got through the Taken King through that almost year. Actually, no, it was a year, wasn't it? Until we got, you know, some kind of update. And then I think we got the April update, but like
Yeah.
it was like what, a couple missions and some
It was like-
exotics.
It was
Yeah,
like
it was a
Challenge of
strike.
Elders. I think it was like one mission. It was like, and then
Yeah.
Challenge of Elders or something like that.
But like Trials of Osiris did so much for Destiny, and if you
Yeah.
bring the streamers in, if you show people enjoying and playing your game, and I think that's why they're calling a bunch of streamers up to Bungie
Mhm.
for the summit. If you show people coming in and playing your game and enjoying your game, and you
Free
know,
marketing.
like with the Trials of Osiris, like with the carries, it brings an investment for people to want to play that. I mean, look at Fortnite.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So
You got Ninja streaming with Drake, and like everybody's like, dude, I want to play them.
Yeah.
Like, can I get in on that? How?
Yeah.
You know.
So we now know that they're going to start releasing all the Crucible maps for free, so all players are able to enjoy it. What are your thoughts on that? Because a lot of people say it's a good move, but, and I totally just lost my thoughts. So I'm just gonna pass it on to you guys. Damn.
Yeah,
it.
no, it's a great PR move.
Yeah.
It keeps people talking about the game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I think it's a good. How is this bad?
Yeah.
No, it's necessary, to be honest.
Okay,
Oh,
I agree
that's
with
what I was
them.
gonna say.
It's necessary.
Yeah.
I think you nailed it right there with what you said.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, because at a times where there's like low population, then the player base won't be split. Everyone is still going to be in one playlist. So
Yeah.
that's another thing. So now, how are they going to work with the PS exclusives if all the maps are going to be free for everyone? Where hope is for everyone and not.
Well, no, it would just be the PS exclusives. People are going to get that exclusive map also.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all.
All right.
Whatever.
They'll just get the extra map.
Whatever
Yeah.
console you're playing on, you don't have to worry about Crucible maps. You're going to get them all.
All right. My case is closed.
And I think. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say is like I love that they're making these maps available to everybody. I also do wish that these maps were available to everybody with private matches as well, because unfortunately, for private matches, they're not gonna be.
I think that's what Gears of War does as well, though.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like if like you're playing with somebody,
Mhm.
if they have all the map packs, you'll play on all the maps, but you
Yeah.
can't like go in on your own or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, Destiny has a very lucrative microtransaction, feature. Let's be honest.
yeah.
It's very fleshed out. I've heard horror stories of people like, I spent $300, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? I
Yeah.
need your money. Do what you want. Like, do what you want. I'm not judging you.
Yeah.
I'm not judging you. I know you just said what's wrong with you, but like, that's your gut reaction. It's like, what? Why?
Yeah.
I wouldn't spend $300 on a video game. Just
No, that is
as a
insane.
matter of course. But people do. I mean, people spent like what was the one article where it was interviewing the Mass Effect guy, Manveer Hair, where it's like somebody spent $1,500 on random loot boxes, in Mass
Wow.
Effect 3.
That's insane.
So it's like, people can do it with your money. You're gonna do with
Yeah.
it. You earned it. You have it. Good for you. I'm still gonna be like, wait, what? But what a lot of people have done, what a lot of companies have done, like Halo, Halo 5 does this. All the multiplayer maps are free.
Yeah. That should
Yeah.
be fair. Yeah.
All the DLC is free. All the updates are free. In fact, I think Destiny would, if they took a page from like Warframe's book, maybe not necessarily go free to play because obviously they can't do that.
Right.
But you put out your expansion and then you have your DLCs for free, and that brings people in and they want to spend money. They're more ingratiated to you.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
more willing to spend money in your cash shop.
For sure. And like with Eververse, and this might be just slightly off topic, but it's relate to Eververse, because I Eververse gets shit on for good reasons, so much, but Bungie like has such a great opportunity if they really wanted to bring in revenue from Eververse by combining the art community and Bungie, just how
Doing what
Digital
Warframe
Extreme
does.
it. Exactly
Yep.
what Digital Extreme does. You have all these amazing and talented artists in the community that make weapon skins on whatever platform that they choose to, and we have a proper like grid ornament system where, for example, with Warframe, people make skins for Warframes and for weapons. Then they put it into the community's forums, and it gets voted and the ones that are the top voted, those get put into the game for people to buy. Now, can you imagine a system implemented like that with Bungie, where people could create ornaments for different weapons to buy off the Eververse store? Like, I don't think people would like look down upon that, because
We'd have a Helm of Inmost Light tomorrow.
yeah, you know, like you have such amazing people like Plain Ben, Brian Monk as Cobwin Art. Like they're just so cool and like amazing like artists. And imagine having their style into the game.
Oh yeah, I'd even throw my hat in there because I do art as a that's my job.
Yeah.
So that's I'd be incentivized. I'd be like, dude, I can make something and then I can like wear it in Destiny. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to do that?
I like
right?
that idea. Yeah, I like that. So this summer, it seems like we're gonna get another update, and it's going to include a brand new event. So I'm pretty sure that event may tie into the new expansion, like something's gonna happen, and yeah, to prepare us for the next expansion. I hope it is. I would like that. And then it looks like bounties are going to return. They're going to bring some faction rallies improvements, PC clan chat, and then exotic armor sandbox changes. So that's gonna come this summer. Yes. Yeah.
Who thinks that the summer event will be SRL?
I hope it's not.
Hoping. I want SRL back. I
I'm
love
50-50
SRL.
on that.
I would like to see it back, but I mean, like, a brand new expansion is going to drop that fall. I would rather see them use this opportunity to prepare us for that, because last year, both,
Well,
I have expectations.
We have a big gap between DLC 2 and September, so I'm sure they're gonna have to bring in a couple different things to keep people playing.
Have we ever had a summer event though?
Nope.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. Okay.
What holiday would it be on though? Like, I mean, we got the 4th in the U.S., but
yeah.
Last time, SRL came with Dawning, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah,
it did.
But before that, it may have been its own event, because I remember prior to that,
it was
they had
called
also
something else.
SRL.
It was called something else though, right? Or was it called SRL?
I'm pretty sure it was just the SRL, because that's the first time they introduced a record book into the game.
Yeah, which record books are returning this fall, along with the weapon slot changes, RNG it seems like, and gear collections.
Okay, so the first SRL event was December 8th.
Yeah, it was the Dawning.
It was the winter event for the first time before they had the Dawning,
right?
And then the second time it was with the Dawning, because that was the 2016.
Yeah,
there it is.
Well, I'm curious to see what this summer event is going to be.
I mean, they could do it with like summer NASCAR, maybe SRL. Ooh. NASCAR.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
I want my flippin' sparrows, man.
I know, dude. You didn't know it until you thought about it.
Yeah.
So let's take it back a few weeks a bit. Did you guys participate in faction rallies, even though New Monarchy won again?
Yeah, boy.
Anyone participate? Nem? Yeah.
Yep. I got the rest of my New Monarchy gear and New Monarchy ornaments. That's and a couple, like I had my hunter just go off to dead orbit just for the shaders, but no, I completed my New Monarchy set. That's it.
Sweet. And that was the last one for season 2, correct? Just wanna, I believe.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's the last one.
It is, right?
They mentioned that this last one. Faction rallies was going to go into the oven again for some revamps.
Major revamps.
Yeah.
New Monarchy won.
Oh my god, if New Monarchy wins again.
Yeah. Well, when you create a game that is based off of how you look, and the one faction has the best looking shaders, that's what
true.
you get.
That's true.
Right?
I thought it was
and ornaments too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was because my memes.
Yeah, and ornaments.
Monarchy memes.
J-Ram, did you play any faction rallies?
I played just enough
ago?
to
Get what you have
whatever.
to get and leave.
Yeah,
I understand.
I mean, honestly, I wanted some future war cult shaders, so I played until I got like 50 shaders and I quit. In other words, like there was zero investment from me. I just wanted those shaders because it's such a weird dichotomy I have with this. Like I want all the shaders, but then I don't use any of them because they don't come back. They're gone once you dismantle something.
Yeah.
So they just sit in my vault. I just look at them and pretend I can put them on.
Soon we'll be getting more vault space, so you could just add more stuff to it. It's like
It's 50.
You know it's painful when you have Jade Rabbit on as your primary and you inspect a shader and it looks really cool on Jade Rabbit and you can't put it on Jade Rabbit. It hurts me in my soul. All the Vex ones, look at all the Vex Mercury Chrome. Oh, they look so good on Jade Rabbit.
Yeah.
Are you guys excited for Iron Banner 6v6 next week?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to see how it's going to play out since the maps were made for 4v4. So I'm curious to see how it's going to play out with 4 extra people.
Well, there's a couple of larger
True.
maps in there. And if they're intelligent and they stick to the higher end medium-sized maps and larger maps, it shouldn't be too terrible. But I mean, again, we don't have a Rusted Lands. We don't have, Rusted Lands basically.
Yeah.
But they pretty much have to rely on the Destiny 2 remakes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. So that's that. Joker, I'm going to pass it on to you now for your lore facts segment.
Okay, so, ladies and gents, boys and girls, guardians of all ages, what if I told you that the Queen of the Awoken, up until the beginning of Taken King, had been alive since the collapse?
She's pretty old.
That would, So, as all lore videos go, while I was researching this, it kind of got out of control and boomed off into other things. But the genesis started with that question. Was the Queen alive during the collapse? On the face of it, it sounds a little absurd. That would make her between 400 and 500 years old. At the beginning of Taken King, one of the things that she says, however, is, I remember everything about the day I was born. I still bear the scars. The Awoken are my family now, and I am their queen. This is not the only time that we hear a version of this story. Both Ghost Fragment Awoken 2 and Awoken 3 recount similar stories, and it is my belief that Ghost Fragment Awoken 3 is actually from the Queen's perspective. You can check them out for yourself, and I will be, like I said, doing a video on this. Anyways, so this started down another rabbit hole. Would it have been possible for the Queen to have been alive during the collapse, as I said, till Taken King? The short answer is yes. Why? Because Awoken are ageless immortals.
That I was not aware of.
I didn't know that.
To skirt over some biology, Awoken are not human anymore. A human and Awoken would not be able to have a child if they bred. The Awoken's blue skin pretty much stops this because the chromosomes are not the same. And that's, again, skirting over biology. And from what I can tell, Awoken don't age. But I know what you're thinking. But Joker, Tyra Karn, the Cryptarch, she's old.
Yeah.
Well, not only is she Awoken, not only is she old, but she's a Guardian.
Oh.
We know that she's a Guardian because she had the same light vision that we had. All Guardians had that vision. And when she was disconnected from the Traveler's Light, she started having dementia. Okay? So, in all likelihood, what happened was she was just old when she was turned into an Awoken, like the Queen, like Zavala, and died, shortly after the collapse, and was brought back as an old Awoken lady. Another example, like I said, is Zavala. Zavala is clearly hundreds of years old. But I know what you're thinking. Zavala's a Guardian. Well, Guardians do age. Look at Saladin. Saladin was kind of a young man during the during the beginning of the Siva conflict, where the Iron Lords go into the replication chamber. But then, by the Rise of Iron, when we're doing things with him, he's older, he's aged. And then in Destiny 2, the guy's senile. But Zavala went to the city, when it was mud huts. And he hasn't aged a day since.
Yeah.
So, Saladin, like I said, is getting older and older and older and more senile. and Zavala isn't. So we have multiple different things where Awoken just aren't playing by the rules of basic humans. There's a reason for this. In 2013, at a GDC panel, Joseph Staten said the inspiration for Awoken were vampires, elves, angels, and ghosts. Elves and vampires have, huge lifespans. Or are practically immortal. Mm-hmm. So it comes back to everything that the lore is telling us and everything that we kind of see kind of says that, not only was the queen alive during the collapse, but there's reason to believe that Awoken are just functionally immortal due to the mixture of the darkness and the light.
Holy crap, that literally just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Damn, that is awesome. Well, see, this is why Destiny lore is just freaking amazing. Just because it has so many layers to it, dude.
I just wish it was in game.
Yeah. Wow.
Do we know why the Traveler chooses who he chooses and why? Like, do we know why?
So Destiny 2 was supposed to tell us that.
Yeah.
One of the things that's like it'll tell you why we're chosen and yada yada yada. But then maybe. So so the speaker does this whole spiel about it's death and sacrifice and honor and blah blah blah. Blah. Mm-hmm. But then at the end, Gull just goes no, pushes a button and does what he wants. So maybe the point was that it's all meaningless. Mm-hmm. That it's just like random and like it is what it is because ghosts aren't beholden to one owner. Mm-hmm. Our ghost actually went to somebody before us and tried to revive them. Mm-hmm. This is an Easter egg in the one of the Taken King missions. If you go up to the wall, there's a bunch of cryopods, and you can scan it, and it's like, I tried to revive this guy, but he was like, no, I don't want to come back, which actually brings a whole other set of questions because 9 times out of 10, Guardians aren't supposed to remember anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yet, Shin Malphur remembers, and then this guy remembers. Mm-hmm. And then Cade remembers the collapse. Kind of. In his journal, he writes about the collapse. So, what I'm thinking is Guardians, if they die and they're rezzed right after they die, they'll probably have all their memories. But the reason that they don't, it comes less from the light, wiping your memory and more from the decay of the human brain.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Man. In fact, I would also hazard that we died 12 years at the most before we're revived in game. Because human bones, if left to the elements, don't last more than 12 to 15 years.
Yeah.
You did a lot of research.
I'm using a lot of...
I like that.
Destiny.
You thought a lot about this.
Mm-hmm. I like that. And I
put the same amount of thought into what I'm going to eat for dinner.
Yeah.
You should see the thought I put into how long Destiny 1 was. Was it actually 4 years or was it 96 years? Because the day-night cycle in Destiny 1 is every hour. Mm-hmm. There are, essentially 96 years worth of days then within 4 years. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
I don't think Bungie thought of it that far into it. I don't think they were like, no.
And then I start another one that I'm working on that this kind of that this video kind of leapt into was when did the Exodus Black crash in relation to the collapse?
Mm-hmm. I did see your video about this.
Mm-hmm. Or I was posting about
tweet
it
or something like that.
Yeah, because if you go by light speed or near light speed, which I have to imagine the ship would have been traveling, because if we did it now, it'd be something like 23 million years to get to where the Exodus Black was going on normal shuttle speed that we have now. Mm-hmm. So you have to imagine it was going at near light travel or light travel, and that makes it 56 years. So you still want to put people in cryo, right? Mm-hmm. But if they're doing that, if it's at light speed, then it took them 4 hours to get to Nessus, because Nessus is a real planetoid centaur thing.
Yeah.
It's out by Neptune. So it's then the Awoken, when they left from the Earth and crashed in the reef, they were only in flight for 15 to 20 minutes. Yeah. Before the collapse.
I didn't know
because I started doing what it would take at light speed to get to places within our solar system. So I'm like looking at all this. Now I don't know if Bungie did all this math. You know, I think I'm being a little over. You know, but it's still interesting. You know,
yeah, it's really cool.
You should be a writer there. You should go. I encourage you.
I've applied.
Yeah, well, they got his application blocked.
Just like my tweets. Just like your tweets.
I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna take it over, and I'm gonna hire you immediately.
Do it.
All right. So Stormblade X69 in chat brought up a good point about the summer event, that it could just be a moment of triumph, because that was technically a summer event. I never thought of that. I forgot about that.
Ah, yeah, Stormblade.
I forgot about that.
That's a really good.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you, Stormblade. Thank you. All right, guys. So moving on to our new segment. Also, tell me something I don't know, guys. Tell me something I don't know. If you guys want an example, all right, I could go first to set the example in the mood. Did you guys know on February 22nd, 2022, that day falls on a Tuesday? So technically, that day is a Tuesday. Get it?
Oh,
really?
Yeah. That day actually falls on a Tuesday. I think that's actually pretty cool.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Wait, that's your interesting fact about you?
No, it could be not about me. It's just a random fact about anything. Random fact about anything. It could be anything.
Oh, about anything. Oh, I was thinking it had to
no,
relate back to us.
It doesn't have to relate back to just anything. If you wanted to, it can. Anything. Just a random fact.
Oh.
Anyone has one? Anyone?
Yeah. So I have one.
All right.
So how many of you guys have played Metal Gear?
Yeah.
All right. David Hayter. You guys know who he is, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So David Hayter is the lead voice. He's Solid Snake.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he's the screenwriter for the first X-Men movie and the co-screenwriter for X-Men 2. Oh. Now, he gave me... I managed to get a couple of words with him on Twitter once. Did you know that Fox wanted him to write Wolverine as an American instead of a Canadian?
Why would they change that?
And he simply... he declined that. He said that he would not continue the script, the writing process if they would force him to do that, because he was not about to just murder the backstory of Wolverine.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that was insane.
That's a good fact.
Yeah.
All right, who's next? Joker, you look like you're about to cry.
The Wolverine thing, man.
Yeah, that.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fox was pushing for an American Wolverine instead of a Canadian one, and he was just like, nope.
Well, hopefully that Marvel contract with Disney and Fox goes through so they can get their rights back. All right. Joker, you're next, since J Ram called dibs on last.
Dude, Mario of Super Mario Brothers fame appeared in the 1981 arcade game Donkey Kong. His original name was Jumpman, but was changed to Mario in honor of Nintendo's American landlord, Mario Segali.
Ah. That did not... I like this segment.
That's pretty sick.
All right. And lastly, J Ram.
Oh, man, where do I begin? Because like I said, I thought it had to be with us.
No,
so,
anything.
Dude, I just Googled random facts.
Yeah. All right. So, let's see here. Can I talk about... You want something math related?
Anything. Anything. It could be math.
Shit, man, I hate you right now.
Dude, I told you about this.
All right, here we go. You ready?
All right.
So everybody thinks I'm really salty, right?
Okay.
And I get called Stupid a lot on Twitter. So
I hadn't noticed.
I haven't.
Oh yeah, dude. People,
Really?
I DMs and shit like that. You're an asshole. You're dumb. You don't know anything.
You're awesome.
When I was an undergrad, I graduated with the highest GPA of all the mathematicians and science people.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm pretty fucking smart.
Look at you.
No, that's a very arrogant thing to say. Well, you know what I really am?
I would show
am,
that off if I had
I'm
the
hardworking.
ability.
No, I mean, I failed exams and
Yeah.
everything. I would refuse to give up on anything.
Mhm.
So I was extremely competitive. So there you go.
My
There's
major was
there's
in
an interesting
theoretical
fact.
physics, not art, but then I couldn't do the math.
Yeah,
I hated the math.
I love. See, I couldn't do what you do. I even told you that. I'm like, how do you create a drawing? Like, I can't do it.
I could barely do a
It's
circle.
geometry.
I
Dude,
can't
you're-
draw
I
a
mean, you know
straight line.
geometry,
It's
right?
always crooked.
Yeah, I can't
just-
even do a circle correctly.
Like
Circles and
yeah, like I can have lined paper in front of me, and I can trace the line, and I will still go off of the line. Like it's, I suck at
Yeah.
anything related to art.
Yeah. Same.
So that's why, like, when I see like people streaming art stuff on Twitch,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
I love it.
completely like, yeah, I'm just like, boy, there's somebody who has a special talent.
Oh yeah.
I don't have talents like that.
You do have a talent.
I put up with you. That's a talent.
oh snap!
Dang.
Oh snap!
The roast.
Shots fired.
I love you guys.
Love you too, man.
All right, guys. So interesting facts this week. We're gonna do that every single week. So make sure
All right, yeah.
to come
And now that I know how to
prepared.
play it, I'm gonna
with-
have an interesting fact
Dude,
next week.
read your text messages. I told
Yeah,
you.
it's an interesting fact, and I'm like, well, he's texting me, so I guess it's about myself.
No, anything.
All right,
you
I
know,
will have an interesting fact, and I'll always try to relate it back to mathematics somehow.
Okay.
That's
That
cool.
math is
That'd
my
be cool.
passion.
All right. I like that.
I'll try to do it to art then, or destiny, or lore, or
Mhm.
physics.
Nemplays will do it to like hairdos because he has the best looking hair I've ever seen.
I know, dude. It's
Look
like
at that
it's like
head of
up,
hair, man.
and then it's like back, but it's got like some
Mm-hmm.
like loose locks out here. It's just kind of waving in the wind, but it's still behind the headset somehow.
It's gorgeous.
It's good. It's
A
yeah.
literal
You just want to
bird's
run your
nest.
fingers through it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm jealous of your hairdo, so. There you go.
Oh man. All right, guys. So tonight's last word is actually gonna go to Bungie. I know, shockingly, right? Because they are actually hosting a charity event on April 27th. Well, you have to vote by April 27th. They are hosting a charity event for the Seattle Ronald McDonald House, which is for the Seattle Children's Hospital. It costs $30 to put a family to stay in the house for one night. So they're hosting a charity event for that, which is just amazing. For more info on that, just read the 12 this week on April 12th. It was great. Great 12. All right, guys. So Nemplays, thank you so much for joining us this week here on the DTR podcast. It was fun having you on.
Dude, thank you so much for having me. It was an absolute blast getting to talk to
It
you
was.
guys.
Awesome.
Nerd
It was
out
an
a bit
awesome
about.
show.
Thank you for
Destiny.
coming on.
Yeah.
I'm glad I could blow your
It was
mind.
great.
That was great.
That's gonna be my goal. I want like every guest to like hear the lore fact and be like, Destiny is so much better than I thought it
Yeah.
was.
Mhm.
Here you go. I got a math fact. You ready?
All right, tell us.
There you go.
Tell us.
A lot of us we've seen the equation a squared plus b squared equals c squared. It's a Pythagorean theorem, right?
Yes, of course. Yeah,
So there was a mathematician. The story is he was an accountant. He would do math on the side for fun. His name was Pierre de Fermat, and he came out and said once that if you have that exponent, that a squared thing, if that exponent is bigger than 2, you will never ever get a whole number answer. So like if you have a right triangle that has one side 3, one side 4, then the hypotenuse, which is the longest side, will be 5. All those numbers are whole numbers. They don't have a decimal, point representation. They're just 3, 4, 5. Fermat said, you know what? If it's a to the third plus b to the third equals c to the third, you don't get that whole number answer. It's always going to be an ugly answer. So it took over, I want to say close to maybe 1,500 years for somebody to actually prove that. Andrew Wiles did it. He used to be a professor, I think, at Princeton, Stanford. I have to look it up because this is off the top of my head. But Fermat what he would do is he would do math proofs on like napkins or inside of his notebook, and he would say, "I finished it in my head." And if you're a study of mathematics, you just don't do that. Like everything has to be well thought out and logical because you got to be able to replicate those results. You have to have a sound argument. So, the family of Fermat actually invested some money in a bank account. And they said, whoever can solve this problem, you get the money. And it was in that bank account until, I want to say the mid-'80s is when Andrew Wiles did it. It wasn't a lot. It came out to be, I think, like maybe $1 million or something like that. I'm gonna try to look it up right now.
Yeah. You know what I could do with $1 million? I stood alone.
Actually, nowadays $1 million isn't that much, honestly.
I gotta pay off student
But
loans.
like in the 80s,
Yeah.
in the 80s, like that was a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Andrew, 62.
How about this?
That's an interesting fact.
Newtonian physics and Einstein physics do not get along, and Einstein physics breaks down in a black hole.
You know, I once had a student ask me in class, and I didn't know how to answer them. And I'm going to have to look this up again. But the fastest thing that we're aware of is the speed of light.
Right.
Right? It's 186,000 miles per hour, or 3.0 times 10 to the 8th meters per second. It's fast as shit, okay? And a student said, well, what if you have a car traveling at the speed of light and you turn the lights on? Will the lights shine forward? Will they not shine at all? Or will you see the lights shining behind you? And I was like, that's a damn good question. And I'm not a physicist, therefore I'm not.
You won't see the lights because it's a particle.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's a particle. Everything will be a particle, right? So when you approach the speed of light, because you're not going to go, the lights that you're turning on aren't going faster than the speed of light. Okay. In fact, you know, there's a joke that you know, people talk about the world being flat, right? Well, when you approach the speed of light, it is. So when you turn on the lights, you're going as fast as the lights. It's not in front of you because it's all going at the same speed. When you turn on the lights in a car while you're driving, the car has got the lights on at the speed of light. But you're traveling as fast as the light is going, so you're traveling as fast as the light particles.
I'm going to have to look this up. Now I'm intrigued again.
That's interesting, yeah.
Wow. Well, it all comes back to particle physics.
Yeah, which I know nothing about.
No, I mean, do you?
Huh?
I know. I asked like legitimately, do you? Because I didn't like mean.
No, I don't know. I don't know anything about particle physics.
Yeah.
I like this. I like this.
Yeah.
I like this. But I do want to make a quick announcement, guys. We are not going to have a show on April 27th for a good reason. I know we just came back from break.
Are you pregnant, Jay?
I am.
Joker is.
I am.
No, it's for a good reason. And
not Nemo is the father.
It's for a good reason, all right? So, Avengers Infinity War releases that day, all right? So, I encourage everyone here to go see that movie that day before you read a spoiler about it. Okay? So I will be seeing it.
We'll just do the podcast, JRAM, and just spoil the movie the whole time.
So I will be seeing it April 27th. I encourage the both of you, everyone, to see it April 27th. But we will do a show sometime that weekend. I promise.
Yeah, the wife will probably make me go see it.
Yeah. You guys have to go see that movie, all right?
I don't know if I'll see it.
Oh, come on. I know you will, Joker. No. We'll talk about that after the show. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of the DTR podcast. Again, Nem, thank you so much for joining us this week. It was a great show.
Thank you for the invitation, bud.
We talked a lot about video games, math, physics. It was great. It's great. All right.
I love physics. That's why I like the VAX so much in time travel.
Nice. So, where can I find you guys on social media? Nem, you first.
Nemplays literally anywhere. Twitter is probably like the best place if you want to get a hold of me or keep updates when I go live. Twitter.com/Nemplays or Twitch.tv/Nemplays.
All right, Joker.
I am Darkside Royalty Lore on YouTube and DSR_Joker on Twitter.
JRAM.
J_Rambo 9119 on Twitter. That's it.
All right, and then you guys can find me on Twitter at J_DTR, YouTube at Destiny Tracker, and at the Tracker Network, and on Twitch at Destiny Track. We are also gonna make another announcement. I was gonna say it tonight, but I'm gonna hold back. I'm probably gonna release it next week or something. I'm just gonna tease it now. Yeah, that. It's a big announcement. We're definitely gonna change up this show just a bit. That announcement.
They're firing me. They're firing me. They're getting rid of me.
No. No. But don't worry. I will announce that soon. I'm also working on our May calendar. So far, it looks so good. I'll just say the first 2 weeks on May 4th, we're actually gonna have Dan Finity. He will be here, former co-host of the show. He will be coming back here to talk some D2 with us. And then on May 11th, May 11th, Hounda, she will be coming back. It's gonna be a great show, and that is the week of Expansion 2. So that's gonna be a great show. It's gonna be a great show, guys. Yeah. All right, guys. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of the DTR podcast, and we'll see you all next week.
See ya.
Bye-bye.